so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Minister Kenny. That was a fantastic speech, and thank you so much for giving us the encouragement to make sure that Nepean stays strong and stable and stays conservative. First of all, I'd actually like to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Without your kind and generous donation, today we could not continue this campaign. This every dollar matters, and like Pierre was saying earlier, I also like to thank all those donors who are contributing to our riding association for many years before. All your contributions have added up, and this helps us become strong day by day. And thank you all for being here. So give yourselves a great round of applause. And I'm sure everyone's had a chance to enjoy a delicious meal offered by our fantastic caterer today, Elle. So please give Elle a round of applause, and feel free to grab some sessions. We'll have lots more food to go around. We have some wonderful guests today. Again, Honorable Minister Jason Kenny, thank you, and Minister Polyev, my mentor. When I started in politics, I was 16 years old, and actually it came around because of a door knock. My dad was at home, and Pierre came door knocking, had a little blue flyer. It was one of those things you can get at Staples probably, but he was 24 years old at the time. I was upstairs, I didn't know he came by, but I saw the flyer, I read it, and I thought, wow, a 24-year-old man is going to become my member of parliament one day. I'm only 16, 8 years difference, and thought, maybe one day I can do that too. And here I am. Before I continue, I'd just like to point out that thank you, Dr. Bill Tupper and Senator Marjorie Le Breton. Please, thank you again for coming to my previous event to help me open my campaign office. Thank you very much for that. So many of you here today are very familiar faces. I've met you many times as I worked for our Honorable Pierre Polyev on Parliament Hill, but also here in the riding. This is a riding I grew up in. I grew up in Craig Henry. My parents came here in 1997 from China, and came here without knowing a single word of English. And I'm not kidding. And my dad gave me a dictionary, and he said, at the back of this dictionary, you'll find some common English names. You're going to be going to school one day, why don't you pick one? And that's why I got Andy. 4 letters, very easy to read. But small things like that, I think, small opportunities, it builds up. It gives greater opportunities a chance. And having that opportunity to volunteer at Pierre's office back in 2004, just after the election in June 2004, I looked up Pierre's information. I gave his office a call, and right away I was invited to go volunteer at his office. And from there, that's how I started. I got a chance to see what the Member of Parliament does, the great work that Pierre has to put in to ensure the service is done to all constituents. We cannot forget that is the ultimate goal for members of Parliament. It is to serve every single constituent, no matter if that constituent was voting for us or not. And when I'm door knocking every day now, I'm constantly reminded of the civic duty we do, the responsibility we have as future parliamentarians to make sure that every constituent's concerns are heard, so that we can come to a consensus, so that we can make decisions, the tough decisions. Sometimes we do have to say no, but oftentimes we want to make sure that everyone can be helped. And just today, I was door knocking with the team. I told them, if we don't door knock this afternoon, that means after the event, we'll have to hit the road again, because I cannot miss a single day of door knocking. Every day I'm inspired, and this is the fuel that I have to help me continue all the way towards October 19th. Today I met a young man, his name is Cassidy, and around 2 p.m. some of the team members were with me, and Cassidy says, I'm not old enough to vote yet. I said, hold on a second, the election's still around 67 days away. How old are you, when is your birthday? And he says, October 18th. I shook his hand, I said, October 18th. Now, do you know when the voting day is? He said, I have no idea, but I want to vote for you. So I said, Cassidy, you have a driver's license? And he showed me his driver's license. And I said, just take that to the voting booth on October 19th, and you'll be able to vote for a conservative government. have a chance to meet all the great and wonderful constituents of this wonderful riding every day. I also have a chance to visit some senior homes. I think Mr. Ken Hopkins, I call him our senior advisor. He's not able to join us today, but he's been taking me around to all the retirement homes in the riding. I've been to every single one of. I don't think I've missed a single one. And at one of these retirement homes, they were having an ice cream afternoon. So I said, oh, okay, what's an ice cream afternoon? He says, well, that's when the ice cream truck comes by, and they give all the seniors ice cream. That's wonderful. Count me in, I'll be there. And,
for the ice cream.
But for the ice cream, that helps me give me some more sugar for my campaigning for the doorknob. But I was inspired. I saw there was a young child and her dad, and also her grandma, and then there was her great grandmother who was in a wheelchair. But I got a chance to shake all their hands, got a chance to be introduced to them, and realize this is what we're fighting for. We're fighting for the future of Canada, and we're fighting for families. And this is what our Conservative Party stands for. When we make decisions, like Minister Jason Kennedy said, it's tough decisions. It's because we're not looking just what's happening tomorrow. Are we going to get those voters to vote for us tomorrow? That's not what we're thinking. But we're thinking about what's happening for our country 10 years, 15 years down the road. And there are obviously constituents who have different ideas about what government should be or what government should be like. And I tell them, look, you maybe made the promises of $1 million by a Liberal or NDP government, but you end up paying that in $1 million of taxes.
That's right.
So every dollar government can give, every dollar that comes from you.
Here, here.
And that's what we have to continue to let constituents know. I mean, it's basic economics. I graduated from McGill, but you don't need to graduate from a university to understand where the dollars come from.
Here, here.
And every day when this writing is a little special. Our writing, we have many of those in the high-tech industry, and as well many who work for the federal government. And I always say we have one of the best public service in the world, bar none. But the caveat is it has to be sustainable and affordable to the taxpayer. Look at what's happening in Greece. Look at what's happening right here in Ontario. Kathleen Wynne can make all the promises she can to the unions, but she can never meet them because she doesn't have the money for it.
Here, here.
And here's where I come in. I besides working on Parliament Hill for all these years, like Pierre was saying, I ran a martial arts and dance academy, Daido Academy, out of the Walter Baker Sports Center. You know what's special about this academy? I took over this school after teaching martial arts for a few years. It's a non-profit. So you think, well, non-profits probably get some government money. Let me tell you, Daido Academy has received this much from the government since I've been the principal of that academy. Zero. And that's not to say, as a government, we cannot support non-profits. We should always support the community. But it goes without saying that it's about managing that money, whether it's $1,000, $10,000, or $1.9 trillion. It's all the basic idea. But Justin Trudeau's never managed anything in his life. So how can you give him something that's close to $2 trillion? I don't think he can even count how many zeros are behind it. Actually, somebody should ask him that. Tweet it out, see what he says. And Thomas Mulcair, we all know he is a career politician. But you can look at me and say, maybe Andy will become a career politician. But the difference is, he talks the talk, sure. But like Jason was saying, you can never walk the walk with the ideas that he has behind his back. And he's got cards he has not shown us. And he's a tricky guy. Because if you look at the debates, not a single real policy that he offered. But what we will see, if he becomes Prime Minister, the first day, you'll be getting a pretty high bill in your taxes that year. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Whether it be him raising taxes or simply raising debt, which will in turn become higher taxes on our future generations, on our kids and their kids. That's why we cannot afford Thomas Mulcair. We cannot risk Justin Trudeau. We can only have our Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, with 9 years of proven experience, proven leadership. And when I'm talking to you guys, I'm always thinking about the doors, the thousands of people I've met, throughout the past year. I started this journey in February. I remember actually I talked with Pierre. I said, look, I want to be going on a journey. I'm going to be going on a journey right here in Nepean. And my goal is going to be to meet every single constituent and knock on every single door. And I have not stopped since, not a single day. And my wife's not here today, she's getting a break. But I want to continue onwards to make sure that our constituents are well served, that they're well heard. And that's important. The Liberals, right here in this riding, they have a campaign office. It looks nice and all, but the thing is, they have not been door knocking as much. They have not been reaching out. And the NDP, they don't even have a candidate here in this riding. So
why bother?
But it's about democracy. That's why I'm in here. I'm right here before you because I believe in Canada. I believe the story that Jason had to share, the opportunities that we have to enjoy here in Canada, the best country in the world. One more note on entrepreneurship. I actually started a small website business just around moonlighting, helping to do a few fix people's computers, and because I actually have worked for Bell Sympathico when I was very much younger. And one of my favorite things as a kid, before I got involved in politics, before I saw what Pierre was doing when I was 16 years old, before then I was all about HTML and designing websites. And I'm a geek. But I may be one of the first techie MPs that we have to offer in the. I'm not sure, Jason, if that's correct. Maybe one of the first techie MPs in the Conservative Party. I understand code, and when I'm at the doors and I see a young person, the first thing I tell them is, do you play computer games or what do you do for fun? And it was always about computers. But that's the future. Every single child who was born after 1990, their life revolves around computers. They wouldn't leave. You wouldn't see them outside of a computer room or these days an iPad or iPhone. But that's the future that we need to bring more of that into Parliament as well. We need to be more efficient. We need to bring those new ideas that we haven't heard those voices. We haven't seen the possibilities that we can bring, how we can enhance democracy, how we can improve democracy. But on that note, thank you all again, every single one. Not only those who have helped me throughout this journey, throughout the beginning of my nomination, but those who have joined later, those who have put in every single day of their time to make sure that Nepean stays conservative and for the next, not only 4 years, but the next 40 years. Hear, hear. Thank you so much.
And